A big hello and a very warm welcome to part 2 of Vibrational Frequencies. I have a small set of books, a very small set, which doesn't go in the bookshelf behind me, which doesn't go in my other 2 bookshelves, a different part of the house. These go straight to drawer number 2 of my bedside cabinet. They've been there for a long time, and I love keeping them there, close to me. If they leave that part of the house, they stay right next to me. If I travel, they go into my hand baggage, never in check-in. And I read a part of any one of these books every day, 7 days a week. It could just be a few lines, it could be a chapter, it could be a page. And it's often stuff I've read in the past, but I read it again and again because I love those words. They raise my frequency. They give me guidance. And I don't want to live in a way where these books are not a part of my life. Now, one of those books is here. I Can See Clearly Now. We talked about this in part 1. Now remember, I still remember vividly, it was about a year ago, the early part of 2024. I Can See Clearly Now is the one I was reading on a daily basis. And that day, I had this urge not to pick up I Can See Clearly Now. It's literally the exact opposite of what happened about the urge I got to pick it up in part 1. I resisted the urge for a bit, but it wouldn't go away. And the guidance I got there that day was to pick up the book next to it. And the book next to it is here, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield. I picked up the book, and I know I was guided to end up in my edition, page 201. A story called Follow Your Dream. The first line is, written by Jack Canfield, I have a friend named Monty Roberts who owns a horse ranch in San Ysidro. It's a tiny little story, literally 2 pages. And I read through it, 2, 3, 4 minutes. And it's about this young man, senior school student, chap called Monty Roberts, who was from a pretty humble background. And like all the other kids in the class, he received this assignment to talk about what he wanted to do when he grew up, or what was his dream. And he wrote a pretty good essay with a good amount of detail around owning a big ranch. And the teacher, when he saw it, said that, I'm going to give you an F, because this is an unrealistic dream for a boy with a background like yours. But then the teacher added, Monty, I'll give you another chance. If you can make it a more realistic kind of essay, then I'll definitely improve your grade. So young Monty goes home, has to think about it, asks the dad for guidance, and the father doesn't have much of a view. So Monty comes back the next day and tells the teacher, I've thought through it. You keep the grade, I'll keep the dream. And Jack ends the story with these words, don't let anyone steal your dreams. Follow your heart no matter what. Now, when I finished reading, I had tears in my eyes and a lump in my throat. A part of it was because the way the story flowed, but the much bigger reason was because I'd had a flash of inspiration. I literally had a vision which said to me that Jack Canfield is playing a significant part helping spread the message of the Center for Infinite Riches and Manifesto Infinite Riches. This just came. My intellect today does not know where it came from because obviously it was beyond the intellect. It came straight from Universal Spirit. The second it came, the next second, the intellect pops up its head. The old pattern in the subconscious mind comes up and says, why would Jack help you? You know, Jack's got so much of his own to do. You hardly know the guy, you know. How's he going to get involved in your life? And suddenly I went flat. But the second after that, the new pattern in the subconscious mind starting to take place, the power of spirit coming in, says, of course Jack will help you. Jack is the one who said, you're not given the dream unless you have the means to fulfill it. Jack is the one who said, everything you want wants you. You've got to take action to get there. Now you see, I was in a vibrational frequency which was not one of my vision having manifested, because if that were the case, it would have manifested. I was not far from it, but I was hovering around that point. Now this is a pretty important concept. When you are working towards the vibrational frequency, which is where you want to get to, and you're close to it, you're on one of those frequencies which is not far away, or 2 steps away, or a few steps away even before. But at each of these points, you will get hunches, guidance to take action. Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich. He says, if you don't act on these, it's detrimental for your cause. Jack, over the course of the years, has used a term called inspired action. I use the word ongoing guided action, both in my book, Manifest Infinite Riches, and otherwise. Whichever term you like, everyone's saying the same thing. This guided action is hugely essential to jump up in frequencies to eventually get to the one you need to get to so you can manifest your infinite riches. Eventually, in my case, after a few minutes, this tug of war between the new pattern trying to take shape and the old stubborn negative pattern went on. But then I took a decision. I said to myself, I will take action. I will take tireless action. And that's exactly what I did. I took action, Grandmaster B Square got involved, helped me, and my biggest motivation for taking this action was that I said to myself, if the feeling in my heart is true, if all that Jack has taught is true, this vision has to manifest. It is the law. I just kept taking action, one step after the other. Jack got the book, he read the first 5,000 words, really liked it, read the rest of it, was very happy to play a part. I ended up in Santa Barbara, met him in person, went through a detailed interview, lots we talked about, and there we are. The rest is history. Now, when I heard this concept of vibrational frequencies for the first time years ago, the first thought that passed my mind was, is this really how it happens, or is it some airy-fairy wiffle-waffle concept? And it's natural for a lot of us to think like that because we don't know about this. See, we can't see it, and we're so wired to believe what we see. But faith cannot be seen. Belief cannot be seen. Love cannot be seen. They're felt here, in the heart. They go straight to the subconscious. It's not an intellectual thing. And the reason I wanted to share this example with you, and the reason in hindsight why I was guided by a force higher than me, why I was guided, I often think, by Wayne in spirit form, to say what I said in part 1, which is purely impromptu, was because I was an instrument to get these messages out. So you can learn to play with vibrational frequency alignments, make it an inherently relevant part of your journey to manifest your infinite riches, because that is how it was meant to be. So on that note, enjoy vibrational frequencies, get aligned, make it a part of your life, and come back to this video and see how Wayne Dyer, St. Francis in one part, Jack and me in the other, benefited from this, how our lives changed, and see how the same can happen for you. Have fun till we speak next.